Some places on Earth look like a glitch in the map. They are real, reachable, and photographed by ordinary travelers, but your brain still wants to call them fake. In the next few minutes, we are visiting 7 landscapes that feel like they should not exist. Lakes that turn cotton candy pink, a desert that floods into a mirror, cliffs shaped like another planet, and caves that seem lit from inside. No monsters, no movie sets, just geology, weather, salt, minerals, and time doing things that sound impossible until you see them. Before we start the list, here is the reason these places hit so hard on video. Your brain has a built-in library of normal landscapes: blue water, brown cliffs, green forests, gray caves. When a real place breaks those rules, the first reaction is not wonder, it is suspicion. A pink lake feels edited because water is not supposed to look like that. A perfect field of hexagon rocks feels manufactured because coastlines are supposed to be messy. A salt flat mirror feels like a camera trick because horizons usually separate Earth from sky. The fun is that every strange image in this video has a physical explanation. The shot looks impossible first, and then the science catches up. Number 7 is Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia, the world's largest salt flat. In the dry season, it looks like a white desert stretching past the horizon. But after rain, a thin sheet of water turns the whole surface into a mirror so huge it can erase the line between sky and ground. People appear to walk inside the clouds. Cars look like they're floating. The effect happens because the salt crust is incredibly flat over vast distances, so even shallow water reflects like polished glass. The strange part is that this dreamlike place was once part of prehistoric lakes. When those lakes dried, they left behind salt, minerals, and one of the most unreal views on the planet. Number 6 is Zhangjiajie in China, a forest of giant sandstone pillars rising straight out of green valleys. Some columns are hundreds of meters tall, narrow enough to look unstable, and often wrapped in mist. It feels like the ground forgot how gravity works. The pillars were not carved overnight. They formed as water, ice, and plant roots slowly broke softer rock away, leaving stronger towers behind. Fog makes the illusion stronger because it hides the lower slopes and makes the cliffs seem to hover. This is why the area became famous as inspiration for floating fantasy mountains, but the real thing is already dramatic enough without any digital effects. Number 5 is Lake Hillier in Western Australia, a lake that can look bubblegum pink from above. It sits near blue ocean water, separated by a strip of trees and sand, which makes the color even harder to believe. The exact shade changes with conditions, but the pink comes from salt-loving microorganisms and pigments that survive where many other life forms cannot. What makes Lake Hillier so strange is not only the color, but how solid it appears from the air, like someone filled a natural basin with paint. It is not a filter and not a chemical spill. It is biology adapting to an extreme salty environment and accidentally creating one of Earth's weirdest color palettes. Number 4 is Pamukkale in Turkey. From a distance, it can look like a frozen waterfall or a mountain covered in snow, even under warm sunlight. Up close, it is a stack of white mineral terraces filled with pale blue thermal water. The terraces form when hot spring water carries dissolved calcium carbonate to the surface. As the water cools and releases carbon dioxide, the mineral is deposited as bright white travertine. Over time, the deposits build ledges, pools, and smooth curves that look designed, even though the builder is just flowing water. It is a good reminder that nature does not need sharp edges to make something feel completely alien. Number 3 is the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. The coastline is packed with thousands of basalt columns, many of them shaped like near-perfect hexagons. It looks less like a beach and more like a giant stone floor built by someone with a ruler. The pattern came from ancient lava flows. As the lava cooled, it contracted and cracked, and those cracks organized into polygon shapes. Hexagons are common because they divide space efficiently while relieving stress in the cooling rock. The result is one of those places where a natural process creates geometry so clean that it feels suspicious. But the only architect here was cooling volcanic rock. Number 2 is Socotra, an island in the Arabian Sea famous for trees that look like they belong in a science fiction illustration. The dragon blood tree has a wide umbrella-shaped crown, a thick trunk, and branches that split into a dense network overhead. That shape helps it survive harsh dry conditions by catching mist and shading its own roots. Socotra is isolated. So many plants and animals evolved in ways found almost nowhere else. The result is not one strange landmark, but an entire landscape that feels slightly misfiled, like Earth accidentally saved a draft from another planet. The weirdness is real, and it comes from isolation plus adaptation over a very long time. Number 1 is the Waitomo glowworm caves in New Zealand. Inside the darkness, ceilings can sparkle with thousands of tiny blue-green lights, almost like an underground night sky. The lights come from glowworms, larvae that use bioluminescence to attract small insects. They hang sticky threads below them, turning the cave into a quiet hunting system that also happens to look magical. What makes Waitomo feel impossible is the contrast: deep rock, black water, silence, and then this delicate field of living stars above your head. It is not electricity and not projection. It is biology using light as a tool, and humans standing underneath it, completely stunned. What connects all 7 places is not just beauty. It is scale. These views are the visible surface of processes that are usually too slow, too small, or too hidden to notice. Minerals settle grain by grain. Lava cools and cracks. Microbes change color with salt and sunlight. Trees evolve shapes that fit one island. Larvae use light because darkness gives them an advantage. None of that sounds cinematic when you say it quickly. But give it enough time, enough pressure, and the result can look like a special effect. That is why these landscapes work so well for curiosity videos. They give you the wow first, then the reason. The best part about places like these is that none of them require fantasy to be fascinating. The explanations are salt, lava, minerals, erosion, microbes, isolated evolution, and tiny living lights. Simple ingredients, enormous patience, unbelievable results. If one of these places surprised you most, remember its name, because the world is full of locations that look edited until you learn the science behind them. And that is the trick. Earth is not boring. We just forget how strange it is when we stop looking closely.